All right, so Jen, you want to call the meeting to order at 7:01?
Sure. I'd like to call to order the Town of New Canaan Parking Commission at 7:02.
7:02.
Today is Thursday, December 8th, 2022. Members present are Nancy Bemis, Kevin Carl. Ms. Marley's not here yet.
Not yet, coming up.
Drew McGrattan, myself, Tucker Murphy, and others present are Stacy, do I have to say your last name, and Robert.
Right.
Stacy Miltenberg and Robert Mantilia. How's that?
Here's Marley, and here's Marley. Marley is in.
Okay. Okay, Marley's in.
There she is. All right, so Stacy, you want to take us through the agenda?
Sure. So first, the approval of the October 6th minutes. I sent them to all of the members. You guys are all in approval of it. Any changes? Do you see necessary? Would
No,
like?
we don't even have to do motions. Jen, if you just want to say, is it by unanimous consent? And if it is, we're good to go.
Everybody anonymous with approving the drafts, the draft minutes, say aye. Aye.
All right, good.
Approved.
Aye.
Okay.
And Marley, just so you know, we're not voting in Jennifer as chair tonight. We're going to do that at the organizational meeting with Kevin so he can be available. Kevin Moynihan. We're going to do that in January. So she's acting as chair. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Tucker.
Yep. All right. What's next, Stacy?
Okay, next, parking violation appeals. We have 2 appeals. I know one definitely is not showing up, Laura. She cannot make it. And then we have Sarah. I think both, I sent all of you the appeals. And if you have any questions for me, just let me know. And just need to vote on them.
I have a question about Laura. So again, to recap, she moves spots, but not streets. That's what it boils down to.
Correct. So basically, the way the reparking regulations work is you cannot move from side to side. You cannot move from space to space or repark on the same street for at least an hour. So what she did was she moved from one side of the street to the other side of the street. Now, if somebody is not aware of these regulations, we try to educate them. Usually the first ticket around, because it is not posted anywhere other than in the town ordinance. We try to make people aware of that. She was made aware of that on a ticket she received a few years back. If you look at her
Right.
appeal.
2016, 6 years ago.
That's
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nice
would have
day.
made that mistake myself.
I would have too. Frankly, I didn't even know that that was the case.
Right.
So there
Yeah.
you go.
What do you mean? You can't get away with that?
Yeah. Well, but she took the time to move the car, you know?
Right.
The whole
She
point
did.
of that is to keep people, because that's what we had happening, was that employees would just move their car from one section to another section. And so that's the whole point. And it's been working well for a number of years, but that's the reason we do it.
Well, I'll tell you my feeling about it. I hate ticketing people who work in town, who drive
Oh,
along.
she doesn't work she doesn't work in town.
Oh, I
When
thought
she
you.
means, when she means she works in town, what she actually does is she goes into one of the places that have, I'll say, no charge Wi-Fi, and she does computer work in different.
Right. Well,
Oh,
she's still
So she's not
patronizing.
actually working in a store in town, if that's what you
Right.
Oh,
were thinking.
yeah, I thought she was working.
I mean, if it happened 2 months ago, you know, and she was given that warning 2 months ago, then I'd say that was okay, fair and just warning, and you know, we should uphold the ticket. But honestly, it was 6 years ago, and you know.
I think there should be a 5-year statute of limitations.
There you
So
go.
we've exceeded that.
For my brain, yes.
It's the season, but
I mean, but I don't feel strongly about it one way or the other. So whatever you guys
Yeah.
decide.
I mean,
fine.
she could go to Stamford and to the Starbucks in Stamford and patronize them. I don't know where she's coming from. She's to say which, she lives in
Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, yeah.
Bridgeport.
So,
I don't
you
know.
know,
Is it
she's
someplace
choosing to
closer
come
for her?
here, and she's probably, hopefully spending at least $7 on a latte. But, you know. My view is to void.
Yeah.
Agreed. Want to take
Yeah,
a vote?
I mean, I'm okay. It's been a long time. She just needs to be reminded. Hopefully she won't do it again. Okay, everyone in favor of, how do we say this? Approving, no, overturning the violation? Say aye.
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 1, 2, 3, 4,
Board
1,
of
2,
Void?
5.
Five
Yeah,
void?
void. Void.
Okay, next
Sarah
one is Sarah.
Becker. Is this the one who wants to negotiate to half the ticket price?
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah,
I did the wrong thing, but let me negotiate with you.
I really thought that was,
What is she? She's a, it looks like she's what, a nutritionist or seriously delicious.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I got an Instagrammer. I got to look at her Instagram.
Yeah, right.
Well, you saw the picture, right? She's saying she thought that the sign pertained to parking like beyond the sign and rather than behind the sign.
right,
That
right.
makes
On
sense.
the other side of the sign, which there actually is a driveway, so.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
and also the lines on the street are
That doesn't make sense.
shaped. Yeah, so I'm
I'd say
gonna
sorry.
say, yep, sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
not sorry.
I would
Yeah.
uphold it. Are you guys feeling like
Uphold.
I'm going to uphold it. How about you guys?
Yeah.
Yes,
Uphold.
uphold.
That's
5
every-
to uphold? Everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay, I am up next. Just a quick update. We are migrating to a new software program for permitting and ticketing. It's supposed to go off on December 14th. I don't know if I made you aware, but we tried this in March and it didn't go as well as expected, but it looks like they made some changes to the program because I was retrained on it last week. So I am hoping this time around it goes much better. I will let you know, though, I am looking into, and I have spoke to other companies just to keep them on the back burner, just in case this does not go well and it does not work well for us in the town of New Canaan. But I'm actually keeping my fingers crossed because I really would like it to work well. So we'll see what happens. Yes, Drew.
I just wondered briefly, what is the issue, or what are you concerned about this time around? Is it just that it
Well,
doesn't
last
match
time
with how you do things?
Last time around, they were never able to bring over our whole permit program. So for 3 weeks, my whole permit system was down and they couldn't figure out why they couldn't bring it over. And then there were problems to bringing over all of the data, and they were telling me that you don't need certain data, and I made it very clear that I did need all the data to be brought over. It seems like they are able to do most of it. There will be some slight changes, but I think I can manage where it's not going to be very detrimental to managing anything. But again, I'm going to see, and I have names of companies, and I'm gonna, I already spoke to 2 other people just to get an idea. But it looks like they've made some changes and upgrades and everything, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
So you're doing this all yourself, or do you have an IT person with the town helping out?
I am doing it myself. It's supposed to be
Wow.
seamless as far as they're taking the data and then just changing it. I already have the program in the system, but I'm gonna learn it and been taught and trained and do it.
Good luck. And
Thank
good
you.
on you.
Yeah, yikes. That's always a tough.
Yeah, well, so I've been running reports and making sure I have a lot of backup, even if it's hard copies of backup. I have them.
So September 14th is your launch.
December 14th, yes, December 14th
Oh,
is
That
the-
like Monday? Tuesday?
next or a Wednesday. So
Okay, good luck.
thank you. So that's the update. That's the only thing new that's going on with our department. Everything else is going well as far as the holiday season goes. And, you know, that's really it.
Okay. We want for new business, we want to look at the schedule that Stacy sent out.
So we need, I put together, the next 12 meeting dates. Actually, it's 11 because I kept a no July meeting like we did this year. So, you know, I was hoping you guys would take a look at the dates. If there's any changes, we can always adjust. And if you're all good with it for now, I know things change. Nobody could predict the future on those dates, but if they seem okay to you, I will have them posted.
I'm
So-
not available on the 5th of January.
Okay,
And I may not be either. I know early last year, we were also looking at days of the week, just now that we've got a slightly different group.
oh, okay.
Thursday
Yeah.
still good for people. I don't love it.
I don't love Thursdays. I'd like, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Well, Mondays are tough. Because I have,
Mondays are like a killer at work. I mean, if I could avoid Mondays, I really,
Mondays are not good. And then I have land trust board meetings on Mondays, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays are far more preferable to me than Thursday.
okay, that's fine. I mean, do we want to do,
Thank you.
is it the same exact
Do we want to do the
schedule, but one day forward, one day backwards rather, January 4th, February 1st, March 8th?
like
wanna
the
do
first
that?
Wednesday of every month? I
Yeah,
can put a whole new schedule together.
yeah,
I think that would be better overall.
Okay,
Thursdays are hard because
I
you
think-
often go away for 3 days or, you have other commitments on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm gonna be in Florida, January, February, March, and April. But
Lucky you. Let's have
yeah,
it down there.
yeah, we can have a meeting down there, a joint meeting. But I could get, I'll be on Zoom, so, if I have a hat, because I have beach hair, sorry.
Yeah, Zoom is fine. We can go by Zoom.
Good.
That's
yeah,
fine.
that's what. And Tucker, we can change it to whatever day, right? Like that,
Sure.
that's not an issue.
Totally at the
Okay.
mercy of the group.
Okay,
And so, but Tucker, you're available on Wednesdays?
I have town council meetings usually on Wednesdays, but that's the third Wednesday of every month. So we'll have to just coordinate with Pam. I mean, are we gonna stay by Zoom? Did I miss that? Because someone just called me.
No, I would love to stay on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, we should, well, we can always stay on Zoom. We could go hybrid if we wanted, but I think Zoom works well for this group.
Yeah, I
So
do
we
too.
don't need to worry about getting a room.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Let
we're
me
okay.
ask something, Tucker. So in, this transition period, after Laura departed and we're in the interim with Jen, because in my first several meetings, you weren't always on them. Are you on the commission?
No, I am not on the commission.
So it's-
Stacy's department technically reports to me.
I see.
So I work closely with Stacy. I'm not required to be at each one of these meetings. One of us, though, there's 3 of us at town hall that launch all the meetings. So one of us, if I'm not available, someone else would just launch it. I've been coming on, because I'm interested, because I work so closely with Stacy, but also, I told Jen that I'd help her out, but it's, as you can see, it's very straightforward, so.
So for the one Wednesday a month, it wouldn't be horrible if you weren't there.
Oh, no. Oh, gosh, no. No.
It's like the third Wednesday, right? So if we're doing like the first or second. Shouldn't
The town
interfere.
councils are always like the third Wednesday, so that I'm usually, but don't base it
Does
around
it
me.
make sense? Oh, I mean, what about Tuesdays? I mean, I'm completely neutral between Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If anybody else has any,
I think Wednesday is a bit better. As Kevin said, first Wednesday shouldn't conflict with the third Wednesday.
Yeah.
And again, there's always going to be months where it just can't happen, but I think,
Right.
Right, so far in advance, but
right.
Yeah, the reason why we have to do this is we're required to post, every
Post
commission,
something.
everybody is required to post meetings. Those are your regular meetings, so you can add things to agendas, you can move things around. If a meeting gets canceled, then fine, you just revert to the next regularly scheduled meeting. However, if you decided you needed to have a meeting, if something came up and you needed to schedule a special meeting, you can do that. You just have to do it within 24 hours notice. And you have to set the agenda and nothing can be added. That's the only sticking point. This won't really apply to you also. There's tons of flexibility. If a meeting needs to be canceled or a meeting needs to be added, that's fine. This is just a sort of protocol that we have to do to set the meeting schedule.
Okay.
So what we'll do now, since it's changing, is I don't think we should vote on this tonight. I think you've all decided that you want to have it on the first Wednesday or whatever. Stacy, you type up a new schedule, send it to
Okay.
everybody, and then at the next month, you should put this on as an agenda item, the approval of the
Okay.
schedule for 2023. So when would the next meeting
When would
be?
the next meeting
The
be?
4th,
So I
January
have the 5th, the 4th?
the 4th, Wednesday,
Okay.
the 4th, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Do we have to like approve the meetings before the 1st of January?
technically we do, but since we're in this little, what I think we should do tonight is just approve January 4th
January.
as our next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, and that will have to be a special meeting because it's not 30 days is, so it has to be a special meeting. So in other words, we'll just have to set the agenda. And on that agenda, we can put that we are scheduling the rest of the calendar meetings. She can even send it to the town clerk. It just has to be voted on at that next meeting on January 4th.
Okay,
Okay,
yes.
I don't think anybody's gonna call us out on that.
if we're
And
done-
Tucker had one more thing on new business. Barriers,
Right.
Elm Street.
Oh, yes. And also I just wanted to mention, Stacy, quickly, just you've gone over your first round of your budget with the
Mhm.
few people and it looked good. Everybody was pretty happy with what we saw. So the budgets have all started and the budget season is well underway, but we'll start doing all the department presentations with the Board of Selectmen and then the Board of Finance and the Town Council. Yeah, I wanted to let you all know, you've probably noticed that the barriers down on Elm Street, that had the dining, the outdoor dining on the street, those barriers have all been removed. It's obviously, a lot of it's a weather related issue that we had to get them off for plowing and that kind of thing. The point is that outdoor dining is still available downtown. We certainly have learned that hardy souls will go out, and with all these wonderful heaters, people will go out and eat downtown. And those restaurants that want to do it can still do it. They're just doing it on the sidewalks. The real sort of impact of this was just that some restaurants had way more seating because it was a summer month. So now they just have smaller amount of seating, which makes sense. They're not going to have a ton of people eating out. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed that the barriers are off the street because, again, we needed to free up the roads for the plowing and that kind of thing. They'll come back and we're targeted March, sort of end of March, that we'll put them back unless things change. I mean, you've seen the new bump out that was built out in front of like where Ann Taylor and Ralph Lauren is and that kind of thing goes up the street. That seems to be working really well. There's some talk that, maybe that could get extended even down the street. I mean, we're just trying to always preserve as much parking as we can by also making sure that we've got safe pedestrian access ways and that kind of thing. So just wanted to let you know why the barriers went away and that they would be coming back.
Okay.
That was kind of it on my end.
I have 3 questions if we're moving on to the next item or in between items for Tucker, Stacy, Jen. One is on the budget. Is there kind of a high level bullet point or two that you can give us? I mean, are we again post-pandemic parking is way down? I don't know if that goes into the department budget or that just ends up on the town's balance sheet somewhere else, but just kind of curious, like how much money we've lost. And maybe that's a question for later, another meeting.
Tucker, you want me to?
Yeah, go
or-
for it.
Okay, so we're predicting that with the permits are gonna, my prediction again, and this is only what we saw when we closed out last year's budget, moving forward with us, the deferral period coming to an end on August 31st, I'm predicting that we are going to go up in permit sales because my feeling is that even if people are not commuting daily, even 3 days a week, they are going to reinstate their permit. So a lot of the people on the priority list are going to reinstate for next year's permit. So my belief is that the permits are going to go, revenue is going to go up. I also feel that We are seeing more people coming back. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday commuter days are the highest. Our pay daily lots are full. Now, our revenue is not going to be as high as pre-pandemic because we don't see the 5-day-a-week commuters anymore. But I do not see it being down significantly. It's pretty consistent. It's pretty consistent, but it's definitely not going to be as high as pre-pandemic. Because again, we don't have those 5-day-a-week commuters. That's in the pay daily spots. I do feel our permits are going to go up. Town lots are busy, so that's pretty consistent with what we see over the years. And you know, and I'm trying to keep the rest of the budget as far as operating expenses flat. And I don't think there should be a problem with that for the
How about
office.
the lumber lot? How's that going? I know you're trying to work through the list.
You know, it is, and I loved your, and I appreciate, so I want to thank you for sending that article over, and Bob had sent a couple of articles too. It's so unpredictable. That's all I can say. Even Tuesday, Wednesdays, it's still only 2/3 full with the commuters.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about having presently 400, and I think the last time I looked, 3 permits out in that lot. So,
Right.
I
Well-
can't predict anything anymore.
Right. I mean, those, I guess, you know, the last article I sent was kind of doing a look at different people measuring this stuff. And it just seems to
Right.
be consistently somewhere between 45 to 55. Finance is a little higher, but not even up to 60%. I
Yeah,
just think that's, as you've seen, like the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think that's just the new reality. But
Yeah.
where I'm going with this is I think we just need to get our arms around it. Like, this is a new day.
yes,
We need to develop
I
a
agree.
survey that we deploy February, March, somewhere in there, that really asks all the questions that we need to make
Yes.
decisions and just say, okay, new sheriffs in town, new pricing, new everything, starting September, you know, or
Yep.
whatever our next term is.
I definitely think that we have to revisit how the commuter permit system and everything goes. And I agree. There definitely a survey would be wonderful. And I think comes towards the end of August. I think I will be hearing back from people prior to August 31st. I'm getting trickles in, people calling and asking when that date is up. So I think I'm going to start seeing people either reinstating their permits before the due date. I think that will give us a very clear picture also of what's happening. But I do believe a survey should go out as well.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, I think we just kind of have to take the pulse of where people are, even
Yep.
if it's in a strange, you know, spring as opposed
Yep.
to fall. But a quick question on the mechanics of that. Do we have capacity to conduct a survey? Is this something we could do, you know, literally as a Google thing or some other version of that? Or how do you normally do these?
We subscribe to SurveyMonkey, and we've used that in the past, and we'll use that again. It's pretty user-friendly.
Great.
And so what we would do, and I guess I would ask this group to be thinking about that, is what some of our questions would be that we would want to know. The one thing I've learned in conducting a couple of surveys since I've been doing this job now at Town Hall is that you really have to limit it to like 5 questions. People
Yeah.
just get
Stop reading.
worn out if they see it's too long and it's got to take them just a couple minutes. But yeah, we want to know what their intentions are. You know, do you see yourself continuing to you know, purchase a permit? Those kinds of questions. You're absolutely right about that.
I mean, I think one of the hard things about surveys too is just getting people to open it and answer it, like in the first place. Brian covers SurveyMonkey like for his job, and I know like we talk about surveys all the time, but is there a way to tie the survey to the renewal process? Like it's step 1 of your renewal process, answer these 3 questions before you can go to the like renew your permit.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
It's a good idea.
yeah, I like
Yep.
that.
We
I
got
think
really
that-
good-
The answer for it.
Offering some sort of an incentive, or in this case, a requirement.
What was that when we did the survey the last time, Stacey? We got such a great response when we were
Yeah,
asking them if they
that
were
was-
planning on coming back.
Right, that was when, right before we implemented permits again. I think
Yeah.
it was September of 2021.
Yeah,
So prior to that,
but we got a
Right, but-
great response, and I gotta remember
Yeah.
whatever we said in the subject line. I think to your point, Marley, they need to see that it's more than just a survey. There's gotta be a
Right.
little bit more of a draw or a reason for them to actually take it,
answer it.
to
Right, but-
answer it. So-
Yeah, and even at that point, I mean, I wasn't around for that, but they probably had like some sort of skin in the game with their own permit there, right? Like,
Yeah.
because you were bringing it back, like,
Right.
Right,
because normally, like, the normal like response rate on a survey is like shockingly low, you know, so how do you like incentivize
what,
people or like
5%?
give them like a one ticket off the hook for free, you know, a random drawing if you answer the
Right.
survey.
How many, what's the total number of permit holders? Because you could probably
Oh.
figure it out off the top. It's gonna be like 3% response rate, maybe. You know,
What do
No,
you think, Stacey?
Probably with the three commuter lots, we're looking at maybe at 700.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
right? So then that's 10% would be 70, so.
Yeah.
You know, 3%.
but-
would be-
We
but,
gotta-
but two
25.
things, I mean, or three things. Number one, we can't wait until, you know, the permit renewal. We got to get our ducks in
Right.
a row to create some new policies. But I think we can, there's a couple things you could do in marketing, obviously, depending on what email service provider you have. You could do A/B testing on subject lines and, you know, find stuff that works. But also the big, and also other marketing channels, maybe there's some digital ad spend we could do, just to blast 06840 with, you know, a survey, static ad on social or something. But we could also we have the list of these 700 odd people and just say, winter is coming. Like, this is going to be a big change. Like, this is not, something's going to happen. We're not just going to keep going like we're going to go. And so if they react, if we make it serious and get people's attention, I think, you know, word of mouth is also going to, hey, did you get this thing? They're going to, you know, they're going to change the whole thing, you know, and it should be a lot like Uncle Sam. We want you, you know, to give us the info to change the rules. you know?
Well, what are the steps though in changing the rules? Let's say if we come up with whatever we want those rules to be, then Tucker, how would that actually, and what would that timeline sort of look like in terms of process?
Yeah, so we've been through this before, where
Yeah.
we've changed it, so the commission would have to, you'd have to discuss it, you'd have to vote on it. And then it can be in place, so it can be a fairly quick process once you all have decided what you think the new pricing should be.
And
Or,
I
or
propose-
how you wanna even, you know, do you wanna exhaust the wait list and just take out, see if we can fit everybody into the lot, or exhaust the wait list, make a flat fee for everybody. If they get to the lumberyard, then they can park in the lumberyard, or if there's no spaces there, then they can go to one of the other lots. You know, there's a lot of different thoughts that I have been thinking on how to, which, you know, we could discuss at another meeting, but I guess we can throw
Right.
everything out there and see what works.
Or
best.
even allocating some of that space to just the hourly parking. Because there's, you
Yeah.
know,
Or
There's-
to
Or I was thinking
businesses.
about 1-day permits. We can make 1-day permits just day specific, and people can buy it just day specific. So the 1-day permits will say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you're there on a Monday, you can't use one of those. Or, you know, so there are different ways that we could make it work or change things if we still see that it's kind of staying the way it is.
Well, and we
Right.
also are thinking, it's early yet, but Stacy and I have discussed it a couple times, is that there have been some requests for more business permits, the premium business permits, the 400 and some odd. And what we've determined is the people that are asking for them are already parking there. They're just paying by the hour kind of thing. So by increasing the amount of business permits we have, we're increasing revenue, but we're more importantly is we're not adding more parking. Those cars are already there. We're just making it more convenient for them to be able to park, once and come and go if they need to. But as I say, these aren't new cars that we're adding to the lot. These are cars that are already there. So we were gonna think that through a little bit. We didn't want to do that right at Christmas time because there's the holiday time, because there's a lot going on. So we were gonna bring that to you in the new year. The
Okay.
proposal for that.
And I guess we'd have to should we survey the business owners to see how many spots would be needed as an extra?
Well, I already have a wait list of people requesting
Oh, you
the
do?
lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that is why I was,
20 of them or
Looking to-
something? Stacy, how many? 20?
a total of 18,
18,
between the two lots.
right.
So,
So just thinking of the sequencing here, because time, this does take time. So it's going to be January, February before we kind of finalize a survey, because I think Stacy, your ideas are good. I think the next meeting, if I were you, I would bring those and say, let's imagine how we might do this in this new reality, right? Is it per day and people just sign up for the days and pay, in different tiers? And then we can incorporate that as a question or as an option. Does this sound good to you? What do you think? And then I think, we'd have to deploy it, say in March. You'd want to have it run for several weeks, to blast people, get enough uptake and response. And then April meeting, we want to start going through the responses and the data and see what we could determine. And then looking in May to kind of, all right, let's formulate something that is workable, that fits what people are wanting and what we need to have happen. And then you're looking at June by the time you make it official, and then it's only 2 months until it's time to,
Yeah,
to sign up. So it's not a lot of time.
yeah.
no, that
Unless
would
we
be,
wanted to add a special meeting or two in there.
Yeah, you could always
Right, you
dedicate
can
a
also
meeting
do
just to
that.
this.
Yep.
Perhaps the homework assignments, everybody should have them, because Drew, that is a good point. I mean, you think you've got a lot of time, but it really does fly by. Is perhaps what we should do is ask everyone between now and the next meeting to submit, 4 or 5
Questions.
questions that you think we should ask, to send them to Stacy, and then she can compile them. I'm sure you're all going to pretty much say the same things, right? And then at the next meeting, we can take those questions, discuss them, and move it along faster that way.
and then get a good 5 questions together that we can send
Right.
out.
Mhm.
Right.
Sounds good.
And if you have any questions on, anything on how it works or what options everybody has, just feel free to reach out, ask me. while
Well,
you're putting together your
I think
questions.
the number to keep in mind is what is the highest kind of occupancy that you've seen at the key lots, like the lumber lot? If it never goes above 2/3, then let's figure we got 1/3 of the capacity to play with. And, obviously it could be reallocated however we want, but
Right,
that's 1/3 of capacity we're just not making any money on. That's wasted. So
Right.
how do we
right.
get it
Yep.
back?
But to Drew's earlier question, I mean, is there anywhere we can have access to, what the revenue was pre-pandemic versus?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
828,777.
I'm sorry.
2019 to 2020 permit revenue was 828,777. That was the permit revenue.
Prior to pre-pandemic.
Pre-COVID.
And
Yes.
so what is it right now? Forget even about 2020 and 2021, just 2022.
I
Bob, you
think,
don't have any of that with you, do you, Bob, in front of you? I know you're sitting in the office.
I don't have my, I don't have my budget in front of me, but I think we closed out. Again, I'm gonna give you an average, if I remember just looking at it, for 2022, about 480.
Ouch.
Half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
Figure that's
also
about right.
approved,
But
we also approved 150,000 of the ARPA funds, which you're allowed to use for lost revenue. So we put that back in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, this is really kind of an airline seat kind of game.
Yeah.
How do
Mhm.
we, how do
exactly.
we fill the seats and at what price?
We
Yeah,
have
I
the
mean,
Commodities
and
brokers on the board.
$800,000 is a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah.
and losing $400,000 is losing a lot of money for the town. So we've got to figure something out. But
Well, they're
just-
covering their costs. I mean, they're covering their
Yeah.
costs to run the department.
Yeah.
So that we're not necessarily losing money. And, you know, you'll notice, I mean, the issuance of parking tickets has gone way down. There's a real concentrated effort to try to be less punitive and be more educational about where people park. I mean, there are the repeat offenders and we deal with those, but
Right.
we really want to, Stacy and her department has really made a big effort to go out there and try to show people where a better place to park is, or how you could park for 4 hours as opposed to 2, that kind of thing.
Right.
One
Kate,
last
wait.
question and then I'll stop. Are there any lots at this point? Again, pre-pandemic, people were walking across town to park and get to the train. Are there any lots now that are just like not even in the cards anymore? Like nobody's even using them because
Like
they're
Richmond
so
Hill?
close? Yeah, or
Locust.
yeah.
No,
telephone
Locust is
lot.
back.
No, but they're all being, well, Richmond Tucker, because the commuters went
Yeah.
down, we now offer that as a business lot. So we are
Right.
trying to maximize the usage in all the lots, and the lots are all being utilized. You
Okay,
know, just Richmond, just in a different manner than it was pre-pandemic.
But I think
Well, we are-
Locust is probably one of the more heavily used lots,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Locust as far as, yes, Locust probably overall, well, Morse Court too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
probably
Okay.
more for town shopping, right? Not for
Yeah,
commuting.
That's
Morse Court is more for town shopping.
Right.
Uh,
And
Locust-
Locust is not for commuting either. Locust is,
Okay.
so if you're strictly talking about, commuters, I would say Richmond Hill is the least used by commuters.
Mhm.
But all the lots are being used at this time for something.
What
Okay.
is the plan for Locust? I mean, it's really horrible.
Yeah, it's definitely, definitely on the forefront for something that needs to happen there. Yeah, it's
I mean, as
bad.
far as paving it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, yeah, I mean, also mixed use development. I mean, there's no reason that they have to be open like one level parking. If somebody wants to put something there, still
Exactly.
keep the parking underneath. That's an option.
I've always.
Well, that was the proposal a million years ago for lumberyard, because it's actually, because of the topography of it, right? You could build something on top of that and have it be, you know,
Multi-level.
street level.
Right.
But the commuters came out in droves objecting to that. And that was mostly because they were going to be displaced during the construction. So some
But
of
now
that,
would be now would be the optimal time.
yeah,
Because
it would just
Yeah.
take some time. But people are thinking along those lines, like, what can we do? Which lots can we maximize to make sure that we can put some mixed use or affordable housing and things like that? So it's all
Yeah,
being,
and
or even just
infill.
open space, some park
yeah,
space, green
Mhm.
space. Yeah.
great. Okay. That feels good.
okay, I think that's a wrap then, right?
I just had one quick question, just sort of anecdotally with the holiday season and like people coming in from out of town and shoppers and diners, like, are people behaving? Parking
The
wise?
UPS
Like-
fans are the ones that aren't behaving. They're the ones that are
Yeah.
stopping in the middle of the road and delivering, but we get it on them. I don't know. What do you think, Stacy?
For the most part, I think they are behaving. I really do. And we are trying to, you
I
know, be
just-
as kind as we can possibly be, because we know the season, and just trying to direct them where to park so they're not just parking all over the place.
Did
Yeah.
you see that Range Rover parked in the opposite direction? On
No.
But
Main
we
Street?
see that, I did not see that particular one, but we see it all the time,
I was like,
all
what?
the time. I
Opposite side.
have pictures.
It was the weirdest thing I ever saw.
The
People park
problem with
over
like,
yellow lines.
yeah, they go right like in front of Dunkin' Donuts. They always pull up there and put their flashers on, like the flashers say, "Oh, I'm only a minute, so I don't get a ticket," you know, because I'm just running in. And
But Tucker,
Um,
on South Avenue, you're parking on and he's totally different
the
direction.
wrong way. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I
People
don't want
come
to
up
say
Elm Street the
Rovers,
wrong
but-
direction.
only a Range
Yeah.
Rover driver would do that. No.
What do you mean? The flashes don't work?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we see it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, one of the things that we have to always keep in mind is that, Stacy and Mike and Lisa, Mike and Lisa more so, who are out on the streets every day. I mean, they get hit up pretty hard by people,
Yeah.
when they do give a ticket. And that must be to do that day in and day out and have people scream at you and yell at you and say, I was only 5 minutes or whatever, when they have proof now. I mean, right, they can tell
Yeah.
them when they're, but at any rate, that's really the MO of the department right now, is to really just work with people and not just slap a ticket on the car.
Well, case in point, so my husband was spoken to in the Outback lot because he parked in one of those reserved spots.
Yeah.
And so the woman, and I didn't know that I always thought those 3 or 2 reserved spots were for the movie theater. But whomever it was, like Lisa, said, oh no, people own those spots. You can't park there. That's what she
Well,
told
they
me.
go with the lease, so
They
they
go
are
with the lease.
partners.
Oh, okay. But
yeah,
anyway, so she gave him a pass for sure. And he's very happy about that. So thank you.
Hey, here's a question.
I'll let her
Sorry, I
know.
don't want to prolong things, but since Laura left and we haven't met too many times since, she was going to do the 15-minute loading zones.
We did
did
'em.
that happen?
Oh, we did that.
And how's that going?
Well,
That one's great. The one next to Starbucks is great in the morning.
Yeah.
If you can
yeah,
get it.
And Greenology got his.
yep, very
Yeah.
happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Good,
Yep.
good to hear.
Super.
Okay.
Well, everybody have a great month. Happy
super.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
So Jen, you just need to adjourn us.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. It
I
is
will.
now 7:44. All in
Great.
favor? How am I doing, Chuck?
You're doing great. You don't need me. You guys, you're doing fine. All right, everyone. Have a good month. Happy holidays.
Everybody.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.